Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Oh. Okay, thank you, Jason. 7 months in a row. Interrupting my intro there, but I'll appreciate it nonetheless because it is a subscription. Otherwise, I would ban you for that. Arrogance, honestly, Jason. Right, here we go. We are doing a map review of Bojan P's Black Citadel. Now, for you guys in the chat room, yes, hello, Jason. You can let me know what you guys think this map should be called, okay? Because Bojan P says you can change the name to anything. At the moment, it's currently called Black Citadel, but you can change it. And by the end of this video, we'll get a name. So feel free to post your names, and we'll decide on one, or everyone can vote on one, or at least give their opinion as to which one they like the most. So, Black Citadel. Well, the description for this from Bojan P, who has been a follower for a while, I recognise the little fella, is mostly for grouping up and farming with your ally, he says. The aesthetics are pretty bad, but that's cause I don't really pay much attention to them. Not sure, that's not really an excuse, it's just like a flat out admittance, but okay. I hope to see any ideas from you as to how I can improve the design. And that's about it. I wonder if you gave this a map description. I've noticed that quite a few people that did post in their maps. Oh look, you did. Battle is to take control over the landscape of the Black Citadel. So you suggested 4 versus 4 or 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. So we'll look at it from that perspective. Now that actually looks kind of interesting for a 2 versus 2 versus 2, except these guys are super close together. So let's zoom out, take a look at the map. Wow. Thank you very much for the donation, Jason. Ja Axis, Eridor, Lord of the Burning Legion. He is a legend. Thank you very much for that. I love that sound clip though. Not the one that just played there, but I do love the original voice actor. That's like the best thing about Hearthstone. If you ever play Hearthstone, is to just get the Jaraxxus card. Seriously. Actually buy it now, or, you know, get Dust, get it, and play Warlock. So anyway, let's take a look. So for example, we're playing as, I don't know, it would be simplest to look at it from player one's point of view. Red. So we're spawning here. One thing I will note, right, okay, Mr. Bojan, is typically most melee maps, this isn't something that's totally necessary because assumably this would be filled up in a 4 versus 4 with 8 players basically, but most melee maps will always have creeps at the start of the spawn. And if there are players here, then these creeps do not spawn. If there aren't players here, then they do. So that allows players to give this map a go, but do a 3 versus 3 or just a 2 versus 2, and then that gives you something big to creep in these gold mine spots. So that's just something for future melee map making, but I know that you're intending this to be played as a 4 versus 4, or full house basically, so it's not really relevant, but if this was to ever go into a melee map status, then you would want to include those creeps. Doesn't have to be anything, but obviously quite powerful is typically the type of creeps that are around the original gold mine player starting area, so that's probably about level 23-ish. Okay, so oh, blimey. Okay, and your dad was a Murgle. Thank you very much, Jason. Crazy. Okay, thank you. So looking at this, we've got our nearest green spot, which is what I would look at first if I was to say anything, is a reasonable creep spot, actually. This is very similar to Deadlands, which was mentioned earlier. You are in the video, Jason. Deadlands. You might notice there is similarities to it, although Deadlands is definitely much sort of taller and probably just as wide. And you have like the bridges, like one there, one there, one there, and one there, and then the rest is like this black kind of river that you can't cross. So these creeps are perfectly fine, but the question is what do they drop? Ooh, I pressed a button that I didn't want to press there. Give me the info. You know you want to give me... Oh, I can't even get my info back. What the hell? I've broken it. What have I done? I pressed one hotkey button. I can't get rid of this. Pathing. I don't want the naval pathing. What the hell are you giving me naval pathing for? Okay. Draenei Disciple, level 1 power-up item. That's kind of okay, but there's not much from that. And that isn't the easiest green camp. I'm just going to say that right now. It's not the easiest green camp. So if you did that, then you might want to move over here, which looks like a level 6 Diabolist. Or Diabolist. I'm not sure how to refrain to that. Level 2 charged item, and a level 12 in total. A reasonable orange spot, definitely. Maybe he goes down quickly, though. Let's have a look. What health does he have? Oh, he has 630. That's quite fine. You could probably nuke him down fairly quickly, but not massively quickly. Then you got your shop nearby, with a much tankier dude, a level 6 guy that's going to have 775 health, so a bit more. Level 3 permanent item seems fine. Blade Master can't nuke that down and get the claws of attack plus 9 or whatever. Level 1 power-up item, and that's probably about, yeah, level 17. So you got your shop nearby. That's perfectly fine. But typically the shop would actually be guarded by probably these creeps instead of those ones. But that's kind of okay because these are sitting on their own and it gives you something to do. You got the aggro range there on these nerfed down, which is very good because this player did try to take this expansion. You might get aggro from these if you didn't give them the camp thing, because a lot of players might accidentally give them the normal. That's basically 600 acquisition range, and this is 200 acquisition range. Acquisition range is basically the aggressiveness of the creep. So say for example that's 200 distance. If you're standing here, these creeps will notice you. If you're standing here, they won't. But if they've got 600 and you build like over here, they're going to come up all the way over there to come and kill your farm or whatever. But if you build like here and they're camp, you can get away with it. That's what the acquisition range is referring to, just in case you were curious. Now we've got our gold mine. What the fuck is... That's a big ass fell ravager. Oh my god. 950 health. Devour magic and black arrow. Well, at least he hasn't got mana burn. And the total value of this creep camp is 15. And this bad boy has, what, a level 2 permanent item? That should be a level 4 charged item at least. Look at him. That is one nasty piece of work. I do not want to mess with that bad boy, I'm telling you. But then again, he is guarding a gold mine, so you could work with your ally to go and get it. Because as you have mentioned, and I am aware of this, I haven't forgotten completely, is the idea is that you're trying to work with your ally here. So assumably we're going to look at this from a 4 versus 4 point of view, because if you do 2 versus 2, that's cool. I think 2 versus 2 could work, but you might need to extend these trees a little bit more or something like that, because though you could militia rush the person next to you, and there's not much they could do about it, so unless you had some sort of way around this. Say for example these creeps, if we just move them here, I think there might be a way around that. I don't like these creeps being there really, because they kind of block if you try to move units, but for now they'll do that. We're just going to do a very quick fixer-upper, and I just want to see whether this will work. What the hell am I doing there? I want to lift, increase one. Ah, okay, that's why I can't see clearly. Right, this would just be your cheapo fixer-upper, okay? This is not to reflect on it properly. It wouldn't necessarily encroach that much, but if you see what I'm getting at here, boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's a terrible ramp, but you kind of get the idea. It's being stubborn. Yes, it is being stubborn. Just work with me here, bro. There we go. Okay, let's do a ramp here. So, in order for this player to get over to here, he's now got to travel there, come round up here, and go there. That's a slight difference. That could work on a 2 versus 2 scale, and maybe get rid of these trees now, and maybe have, I don't know, a ramp. It's all about the ramps. Apparently. Will I stop Dark Cliff? I don't want that. There you go. And then you still got access to get to this middle spot over here. And then when people are attacking, they can group up and come here. And maybe make this a narrower corridor, so they can't sort of camp here with demolishers. But even if they did, then you're still far away enough with your main, but your main base may still be under threat. But if they want to come around with a massive army, you can still flank them with your ally and have more of a range because you've got these annoying trees in the way. So I kind of like that, but it's not perfect, and feel free to do nothing with it. But that's just a suggestion, because if this did turn into a 2 versus 2, you would just screw over that nearest person right away if you're a human. So I know I would. That's the first thing I would do, is militia rush. So yeah, looking at this from 2 versus 2 position, like two allies working together, these creeps do make a lot of sense, actually. They do. Like you got the one little subtle green camp, and then you could easily move on to like the tougher one like this, and then you got choices between that or go for gold mine or open up another laboratory. No, that's the only laboratory there. So you got all your shops and amenities are very nearby. You got your gold mine, you got your lab, you got your shop. Where's the merc camp? Do we have a merc camp? We have the dragon in the middle, but I'm going to assume we don't have a merc camp since this is going to be symmetrical, I believe. It's not actually, not completely. I just noticed some differences. So you haven't got a merc camp, and it's not to say that you have to have a merc camp, but it doesn't hurt to have a merc camp. So perhaps consider one. You could even have a merc camp up here, for argument's sake, and some creeps up here. In fact, that might be a way to stop people from rushing each other. So let's say, for example, we go for neutral hostile, neutral passive, get the merc camp, stick that there, and then put a bunch of hostile creeps. So let's just use a couple of fell guards, some sort of like caster to slow them down, and maybe one Draenei Harbinger, like he could also have the heal. So that way, if you want to access this person, you got to go through these. Or you could be super stealthy and wait for nighttime and go round here, but then you run the risk of aggroing these, and if you can fight them back, then you can aggro these. It's just an idea, and that way you can also fit in the merc camp as well. And they shouldn't aggro at all, I don't believe, but we'll see. So we know what we've got here. These creeps seem fine, but the items I'm not happy with. I never am happy with the items, to be honest. Level 3 charged item, that's a little bit more respectable. I think you have to step up the game and go for level 2 permanent at the minimum and level 3 charged. So that's okay. But what was this guy dropping, like level 2 permanent? That's not good enough. It has to be like level 4 charged. Or level 3 permanent. Because he's a big guy. But I suppose you can argue that you're getting the gold mine for your value, so there is that. So I might be wrong on that sense. It just depends on how much you want to reward. So if it was a 2 versus 2, you might want to heavily reward that because there's only so many of those anyway. So let's have a look at this creep camp, which is fine. I like this sort of thing. I like having stuff to do. So these aren't assigned to a marketplace or a shop or anything. They're just there. So if you've got nothing else to do, or you need something around this level, item level rather, level 20 to creep, then feel free to go nuts. And you've got a level 2 charged item from this, and probably a level 1 power up item. No, level 2 power permanent item, 510 health. Okay, yeah, no, that's okay. That's cool. That creep camp works in my opinion. Now let's move on to the good stuff. Actually, 1 second. Just want to see what these little guys are in the middle, which you got basically. Imagine this from a symmetrical point of view. So what you're looking at here when you're analyzing this map is, I'm not obviously looking at every single camp point. You're looking at this. That is basically the quarter of the map. That covers player 1. And then everything else, all the other 3 quarters are going to be basically symmetrical, except for the 2 side main parts here, the big gold mines, which is cool because that's something that the players on either side can work towards and try to get, and then either player can use these short corridors with demolishers or whatever to try and push and sort of like blockade this area, or you've got this open style of attack and approach. So I really like this actually, it's very nice. Let's have a look. Infernal Juggernaut, level 4 permanent item. Level 4 permanent item isn't bad. Like, you get your auras from this, so you could get away with it because if it's 2 versus 2 or even a 4 versus 4, auras actually carry more weight than 1 versus 1. But I don't know, that is pretty powerful. So if you were going to just do a level 4 item drop on this guy, I would probably suggest doing something like a level 2 power up item on this guy and like a level 1 power up item on this guy, or a level 2 charged item on this guy as well. Just something a little extra. Just a little extra. Now let's look at the equivalent on the other side, which is 24 levels. So good, you've kept the levels the same, but one might argue that one side is more difficult than the other. Which would you like to hedge a bet on being more difficult, Warcraft 3 players, huh? Just bear in mind this guy's got Bloodlust and Ray of Disruption, so he's going to be able to Bloodlust this character, which does change. What the fuck? His ability is an Inferno. Okay, you might want to change that. If you do have this guy in the game, you're going to want to get rid of that, because that makes this creep camp officially the most difficult. Because that's your Inferno, but this Inferno can't summon another Inferno, whereas this guy can. So having an Inferno dropped in your face whilst trying to creep that is going to be a little bit depressing when you find that happens to you. So this creep camp is tough, but not compared to the other one where you get an Inferno dropped in your face. That is pretty good. I like that. So, yeah, okay, these are cool, these creep camps. I like them. Obviously, make according adjustments, so one way to deal with this, I think, although I don't really want to break the game, is there's 2 ways to go around it. But if it was to be a melee map, the problem is Hive Workshop and all these other map websites would not accept, well, Hive Workshop only, I think, would not accept this as a melee map if you make any custom changes to it. And by custom changes, I mean to change anything. So any of the data. So if I was to find that creep, who's called an Infernal Juggernaut, okay, and delete that ability, so you don't have to worry about the Inferno. That's cool, but now this Infernal Juggernaut, if I cannot find him for some reason, I don't even know where the hell has it gone? It's not always in alphabetical order, because it would be around here, but then it suddenly skips. Ah, there we go. Yeah, he's pink now. So when you got pink, it means it's been changed, and they wouldn't like that. So you can't basically change it and have it go down as a melee map. So then you would basically be forced to find an alternative to this creature. So that's not the worst thing in the world, because you could always put down, I don't know, what seems like a good bet. Queen of Suffering, maybe. I don't think she's as powerful. Well, she's pretty powerful. Charm, Death Coil, Unholy Aura. Yeah, she's pretty powerful. 1600 health. You could just put her down, and she wouldn't be as broken as the other one, because you can't have an Infernal be dropped on your head. I'm just saying that. You can't have that happen. Okay? So you got your Queen of Suffering, and that's one way around it, because you can't edit maps. You could do it if it was just like, you know, just for fun and stuff like that, and it is, but again, like, melee maps don't get taken seriously in quotation marks when there's any changes to them. They have to be flat out basic, no edits whatsoever. So obviously this place looks very barren, but like you say, textures aren't exactly something you've looked at very much, and the best way to go around textures, I suppose, if you're not an expert at it, is to simply do this kind of thing, where you just sort of like splash one thing down, and then you throw in another thing in sort of in between. This is just very, very light. And then you dot that around a bit more. And okay, that's looking quite bad now. Unless we do this. No, that's not necessary. We don't want that. That doesn't fit in with the theme. This is a tough tile set to work with. So you just kind of dot stuff around, but obviously you wouldn't have that, because that stands out like a sore thumb when it's like surrounded by all this other stuff. But again, if you just spread that stuff around, then it doesn't look like this area looks like it stands out so much. You see what I mean? Now you're seeing this other stuff. This doesn't stand out anywhere near as much. But yeah, I'm not the best at terrain myself, to be honest with you, so we can all work on that together at some point. So there you go. That is basically the symmetrical area. One more thing to do though is this middle bit, which is the daddy of them all actually. You thought those side gold mines were tough. Take a look at this. Level 48. Okay. So what's going to drop from level 48? Better be good. Rune of the Watcher, huh? So you're saying that this level 8 Doom Guard is going to drop a permanent Sentry Ward. Right. What about this one? That better not be Rune of the... Level 2 power-up item, huh? Oh, I get to see a lot of those in these map reviews. I don't know why people love these so much and such powerful creatures. No. No. We don't want level 2 power-up item. I don't even know what's going on there, to be honest. Any level artifact item. Okay, that's a little bit more powerful. If you drop an artifact item as well, okay, level 5 charged item. So, thing to know here is to go for the left one here. These have 2,200 health, these guys, I believe. Yeah, 2,200 health. So one of these is tough, okay? Two of them is very tough. Having a Doom Guard slow your army down, as well as AoE it and War Stomp on it, is pretty badass. However, the dragons are sexy, so if you can get access to them, then I suggest you do it. And it is, I mean, two players could solo this, or I say solo, could do this, so it's not really a problem. One player could do this if they had a big enough and the correct army. 4 players shouldn't be a problem, but it's something that you work towards much later on into the game, so I don't mind there being this super powerful thing in the middle that people can sort of run towards, if you know what I mean. So I'm actually okay with this. I don't honestly think that level 48, I don't think there's any creatures on any melee map that Blizzard currently publish or allow to be accessible through the ladder system are anywhere near to level 49. Oh, my eyesight is bad. Level 49, yeah. So, might want to nerf that a little bit. Like, one Doom Guard would probably be enough alongside these two. But to be quite honest, most of these type of creep camps wouldn't even have the Doom Guards. That's what you would have. That would be like, think of it like, you know, I keep harkening back to it, but Full Scale Assault, you've got those 2 Frost Dragons that are level 10 alongside a bunch of trolls and stuff like that. And that's the hardest creep camp I think that currently exists in Warcraft 3 maps. So, well, melee maps that are accessible on the ladder. So this is kind of close to it, okay? So that's one way to look at it from that point of view. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Otherwise, generally speaking, just it looks basic, but at the same time it's not. It's quite fully fledged. The open spaces are cool, but at the same time you've got like the trees in like the right position, I think, to allow a lot of sort of weaving in and out of where you're going. So sentry wards would be pretty powerful here to sort of keep an eye on the opponents. I am worried it's a little small. Now, I'm not a fan of big maps, but for this player to get to that player, how much effort does it? Actually, no, it's probably okay, to be honest with you. It's got to travel here, yeah, and that's like the halfway point, isn't it? Where the... No, that's like the halfway point. So that's halfway. So you've basically got 1, 2, 3... that's okay. It's a little small, but that's alright. I'm okay with that. So overall, I actually like this map. I might suggest this change. It looks very ugly, to be honest with you, so I'm not a fan of this change, but I feel like there needs to be something done. Either stick this as 4 versus 4 only, or if you do have the 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2 option, then you have to put some sort of barrier between these 2 players. Otherwise, I'm just going to tower rush someone or something. One last thing to look at, I suppose, is the over-the-top aesthetics going on over here. Maybe this is part of your Black Citadel sort of like feel and vibe, but there's an easier way to do it without going over the top on the fire doodads. You could have this bottom one be kind of fiery, but it doesn't. It looks a bit cheesy, to be honest with you. But What did people decide, by the way, what this map is being called? Blood Plain sounds like a good name for the map, says Santiago. Did anyone else give suggestions for maps? Burnt Pasta? I don't think that was one. Uh, Blood Plains could work, perhaps. Black Citadel's still a cool name though, so I don't think you can go too far wrong with Black Citadel. But if I was to be super sort of editorial on this up in here, what you could do, it only really works actually if you have one area that's easily visible. But one way to look at it when you're creating a map is to create the theme first. So for example, if you did say Black Citadel, how cool would it be if you actually kind of had a citadel? So we actually sort of like almost built one. I can't do that straight, but you're going to get the idea. Okay, that looks fucking awful. Yeah, you just kind of have this over here and then this over here. Get a very basic idea for what this is. That looks terrible right now, but all you would need to do is just put in some doodads and aesthetics, and I've ruined that completely. All I'm really looking for is one doodad, and that is the gate, and I'm not sure if I can find it. Structures, trees, doodads. Maybe have a demon storm. No. Fuck it. I go too far. This is terrible. I've ruined it all. Okay. No, there's one thing I'm after here. There's only one thing, and I can't remember where to find it. And I'm trying to find it. Okay, let's stick a couple of outland plants there. That looks good. Yeah. That looks the piece. So that's nice. Maybe a few bubbles. I'm digging around here right now, but there is one thing I'm after, and I still haven't found it yet, and I don't know where it's gone. Oh, come on now. Right, where the f have you gone? I don't know if you can search on the doodad panel. It doesn't look like you can, but I will find what I'm after. No, I won't. Alright, let's go to the bottom. It's not water. Is it trees destructibles? Ah! No, not yet. Structures? Nope. Props? Nope. Path and blockers? Nope. Environments? Nope. Maybe it's Outland doesn't even have one of these. Can you guess what I'm trying to look for? I put so much effort into this, it is wasted. Wow, okay, it doesn't actually seem to have them from what I can tell. Okay, so let's switch over to maybe Dungeon might have it. Oh yeah, you got a few more options here. But the question is which one does it come? Aha! Boom! That's what you would have. Already this looks like a citadel. Look at that. Do you see what I mean? Maybe put a few fires around that bad boy. Check those fires here. Whoa, look at that. And you kind of have this theme that there's this area that you can't access, but it's like there and the players know it's there. But obviously it wouldn't work on this map because the only way you could really make that seem relevant to all the players is to stick it in the middle somehow. So if you were to go really over the top, which we're not going to do, and I mean really over the top, I'm really going too far on this one. And I'm totally ruining your map right now, but take one last look at it. We're done with it. It is good. I like this map. Needs a little bit of work, but I generally like this. For 4 versus 4 RT, I wouldn't mind playing this map, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have a problem with it. So, your Black Citadel. Okay, you getting ready for this? This is how it would work. So it'd be like that, if you see what I mean. And the big thing is on the inside, and then the players would have to sort of work their way to the middle, and you'd have these gates. So much like you might have seen in those free-for-all maps that I played a long time ago, or you know those big maps which are like 12-player maps. You can't even, yeah you can, 12. You can get 6 versus 6. So you'd have a gate here, gate here, gate here, gate here, and you need to destroy the gates and sort of break through to the middle bit, and that can all look very aesthetic, and that would be your black citadel in quotation marks. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this map review. I did kind of tear this to pieces, not in the sense that I actually didn't like the map, it's just in the sense that I actually ruined your map, so I'm sorry for that. I'll remember to not save it when I leave, okay? So yeah, it's good actually. I like how you've given a lot of options for players. They can go this way, if they go that way, they can go up here. I know I just added that in, but you can go around here. There's different ways to get to things. But the previous way, without this stupid frickin' black citadel thing in the middle, allows even more access. But you'd have to be very careful going past these creeps because I think they'd aggro. And overall, I like it actually. It looks like a fun 4 versus 4 map to play, to be honest. Just the creeps need to be a little bit boosted in items, not too much, or maybe just nerf the creeps. I'm not sure if I covered this Goblin Laboratory here, actually looking at it. You got level 6, and level 4. This is kind of what I'm talking about. These are really powerful. They're just, I don't know. Maybe you have like one level 6 and then 2 level 4s and a level 2. Kind of look at it that way. You can't have too many of these power creeps. But again, you did say 2 versus 2. So the problem is if a player wanted to solo some of these creeps, they're going to take so much damage just doing it. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.